Reporting to the media this week at Post Executive Council Media Briefing is the Secretary in the Division of Education, Youth Affairs and Sport, Huey Cadet, and the Secretary responsible for Agriculture, Marine Affairs, Marketing and the Environment, Godwin Adams.
Let me advise that in terms of CSEC, a total of 900 students would have taken the exams in Tobago, or I should say were registered to take the exam in the Tobago district this year. This is 68 more candidates than 2013. In terms of this year's examination results, we saw significant improvement in the percentage of students attaining 5 or more subjects, including maths and English A. This movement, of course, is quite noteworthy as the pass rate has increased from 30.6% in 2013 to 36.3% in 2014. In terms of among our male students, 35.1% of our male students attained full certificates in this year's examination, which is 10% more than 2013. Among our female students, 42.5% attained the full certificate, which is 7.5% more than the 2013 pass rate. In terms of some subject areas, in particular English A and mathematics, in English A, the pass rate continued its upward trend in experiencing a slight improvement over 2014, with this year 52.4% of the candidates achieving a pass rate, 1.4% over 2013. In terms of mathematics, the pass rate also improved significantly. Last year, our pass rate stood at 32.6% among all candidates. This year, that increased to the percentage of 43.1%. It's seen, of course, an improvement of 10.5% in pass rate among mathematics. The majority of schools saw an increase in the percentage of students attaining 5 or more subjects, of course, including maths and English, what we consider a full certificate. Among modern studies, those group of subjects considered modern studies continue to display outstanding performances, with the majority of subjects in this area achieving pass rates of over 50%. Among science subjects, we had a pass rate of also over 50%. In CAPE, we had a total of 272 persons registered for exams this year. Again, we saw some overall upward trends, with the overall pass rate increasing from 89.2% in 2011 to 91.2% in 2014. Both male and female students continue, of course, to demonstrate good performances in at the CAPE level, and we commend all students for that. Among female candidates, the pass rate improved from 90.9% in 2013 to 92.1% in 2014, while among males, unfortunately, we had a slight decrease from 90.5% to 89.9% in 2014. With respect to overall performance as it relates to schools, the Bishop's High School, Goodwood Secondary, Signal Hill Secondary, and Speyside Secondary performed significantly better this year than they did last year, while, of course, the majority of our schools had overall pass rates of 100% in most of their subject areas. As it relates to performance by units, Units 1 and 2 pass rates were higher this year than compared to that of last year, with Unit 1 pass rates moving from 89.2% in 2013 to 92.2% in 2014. Unit 2 pass rate also saw improvement from 91.8% in 2013 to 92% in 2014. All right. I want to take to provide some information now on our PAN and music camp, but in terms of just as we close off on the exam performance levels, we want to advise that unlike at the SEA level, where it's very, because of how that exam is structured and how the results and the information is shared, it's very easy to identify early the top performer. We have not had that opportunity because of how the information comes to us with regards to the performance levels at CSEC and CAPE. So we will not be able to identify a single person as the overall top performer or the merit list. What information you might have from the individual schools is the top performers within the schools, persons who would have attained greater subject levels. We're hoping that that information in terms of the overall top performers across subject levels, the persons who identify as the top in the merit list in maybe in the coming days. But again, we want to commend all of the candidates who would have taken exams at the CSEC or CAPE level this year. We want to, of course, congratulate them on their performance. We want to commend our teachers and our school management for their continued efforts to ensure that our students continue to show improvements and to continue to perform and see good performances at all levels. We recognize that of course, there are areas of improvement, and of course, as we go into academic 2014-2015, the division will be, of course, working assiduously to ensure those gaps in those subject areas or in those schools where we still have some challenges with performance and persons achieving high, full certificate, that we recognize that we will continue to address that matter. I want to speak now, of course, to the Pan and Music Camp that was held during the July-August period, which is, of course, our annual Pan and Music Camp. The program this year ran for 4 weeks, and it began on the 7th of July and came to a conclusion on the 31st of July 2014. The camps were located at 6 different venues, and both and instruments that were involved in the pan camp this year included the national instrument, the steel pan, drums, violin, guitar, to name a few. Some of the locations that the camps were located at: our Boys Pan Theatre, Bon Accord Government Primary School, TNTech Eastside Pan Theatre, Mason Hall Government Primary Secondary School, Scarborough Methodist Primary School, Roxborough Anglican School. At Roxborough Anglican, persons had the opportunity to be trained in guitar, violin, quattro, African drumming, recorder, and folk singing. At Scarborough Methodist, the trainees had the opportunity to learn the guitar, the violin, the quattro, African drumming, recorder, and folk singing. At Mason Hall Government Secondary, the participants were exposed to the steel pan. Also at TNTech Eastside Pan Theatre, the steel pan was on offer. At Bon Accord Government Primary School, it was also the steel pan, and at our Boys Pan Theatre, the steel pan. We would have had a total of 357 participants aged 7 to 14 who attended this year's Pan and Music Camp. Additionally, we were able to involve 11 special needs children in this year's camp. That allowed us to, of course, make sure that we broaden the scope and the involvement of the differently abled. The For Boys Only program, which is an annual program run by the division. This program is geared towards improving the performance, of course, as the name implies, of our male students. It is a gender-sensitive program that gears towards closing the academic achievement gap between males and females at our primary school level. This program was undertaken during the month of August, and it was a 15-day program. It caters to boys entering Standard 3, Standard 4, and Standard 5. The program began on August 4th and will conclude on Friday, August 22nd. The centers at which the program was located was Mason Hall Primary, Buku Government, Roxborough Anglican, and Scarborough Methodist Primary, with a total of approximately 225 participants. We'd of course announced prior to the close of school that the division, as usual, would have undertaken its July-August schools repair program. Just to provide an update on that, at currently, works would have been done at 30 primary schools and secondary schools throughout the island, in specifically 26 primary and 4 secondary schools. All works are scheduled to be completed by this Friday, well in time to make all necessary arrangements for the return to school of teachers and other ancillary staff next week, in preparation of the opening of school on the 2nd of September. I just, of course, want to end by giving some general information on the Department of Youth and their Youth Month activities that is ongoing. Of course, that began in August with the celebration of International Youth Day on August 12th, with the exposition on the port that spoke to mental health matters. It continues, of course, with the photo contest, with the capacity building training workshop for youth organizations. In conjunction with JAREC, we'll also be doing a conference on defensive driving and auto safety. To name a few, we of course have the photography contest, which is now open, and therefore persons are asked, of course, to submit in the varying categories. These are just an update on some of the matters that continues in the month of August, that has annually been characterized or identified as Youth Month in Tobago. The ITF Tennis Juniors Tournament continues, has started on Sunday with the official opening. The qualifying rounds were Friday and Saturday, and the main draw began on Monday. Competition continues until Friday with the finals on Friday. So members of the public are invited to go down to Shaw Park and see our young tennis players from all around the world, including right here in Trinidad and Tobago. We have players as far away as the Philippines who have come to Tobago to participate in this juniors tournament. We have recognized that the investment in this program and this activity brings not only serious benefit for the assembly as it relates to development of the young people and the participation in sport and their opportunity to compete against and to look at and have a determination against some of the best players, junior players in tennis in the region and further afield. But we also have the opportunity for, from the tourism perspective, to have the brand that is Tobago out there. We will continue, as we have done before, to, in conjunction with ITF and other international bodies, to host tournaments of this nature. 2 years ago, we have held a Davis Cup tournament, and we are in discussions to continue to host more ITF tournaments, both for juniors and, of course, for seniors at our Shaw Park tennis facility, which, just a reminder, is, as we are aware, it is the only tennis facility of its nature using Rebound Ace that is a public facility. Rebound Ace is the tennis surface that is used at the Australian Open, and nowhere in the region is that a facility of that nature using that type of court is open to the public. So we saw that investment in putting significant and modern facilities at Shaw Park as an opportunity to develop the tennis here in Tobago, and an opportunity, of course, to attract individuals and competition here as part of our Sports Tourism Trust. Lastly, in terms of sport, we would want to, of course, speak to our ongoing the return of teams who went off to Barbados, both netball and cricket, primary school netballers and cricketers who went off to Barbados to participate in a number of friendly matches. Again, part of our opportunity to promote the development of our young athletes, to reward the top performers across the primary school sport fraternity. And it is something that we will continue to do. We are hoping that in the coming months, and during the vacation period, that we can continue to do the same in a number of other sporting disciplines, and allow our young players to visit other countries and have the opportunity to engage in competitive matches against persons in those countries. Lastly, on behalf of the Tobago House of Assembly, we'd want to express our deepest condolences to the family and friends and relatives of the late cultural icon, Mr. Henry James, who passed recently.
I would have taken a team of technical and other members of the public, which includes the member from the Tobago Agricultural Society, a livestock farmer, and an agro-processor to Jamaica. They were able to be involved in the Demby show. In its attendance were individuals, countries such as Canada, the United States, and other Caribbean countries. The contingent were was able to put on display agro-processed products such as cassava, farine, black cake, kumar, bay leaf powder, mixed bay leaf powder, coconut and coconut rum cream, natural soaps made from goat milk, lavender and honey, natural hair care products, pineapple barbecue sauce, assorted jellies. We would have had a booth at Denby. Denby is an exceptionally large function. And coming out from that exhibit, we would have gotten the agro-processors to seek some niche markets in the Caribbean and other areas. In the area of the kumar that is made of cassava. And we had 3 days at the Denby show, and they were exposed to the livestock that they generate there and food crop that they do produce on the island of Jamaica and other supporting islands. After the Denby show, we were able to sit with the minister, with the Ministry of Agriculture, having their PS and other key and top technical staff to discuss some of the policy and the programs so as to get a fair idea as to how these countries are getting along with agriculture. As you know, Jamaica is self-sufficient in a lot of root crops, yams, potatoes, just to name a few. And we were able to garner as much information coming out of this mission so as to instruct us or instruct our technical team as to how we could better serve our farmers and to increase production on the island. When we left Jamaica, we would have gone to Cuba to explore the possibilities of better engaging and better systems, or some of the systems that they are using there that could be beneficial to us in Tobago. Cuba is way ahead with the technology, and they would have indicated to the interest of supporting us in Tobago with some of their latest technology. We would have visited the Labio farm, which deals with biopesticides and biofertilizers. And what we were privileged to know is that the professionals or technical people coming out of Cuba can be involved in a program here in Tobago to have our biopesticides and fertilizers done right here in Tobago. And that will be of great importance to us and of any country, because if we can if we can get from our coming out from our islands ingredients that can afford us to produce pesticide and fertilizers, it means that we will not be engaged in anything foreign coming onto the island. They have the technology and the techniques that can give us the assurance that they can utilize whatsoever we have on the island to produce these pesticides and fertilizers. We also visited the Center for Research of Tropical Animals, and they are working on improving their livestock. They have been doing things, and we strongly believe that they can support us in that venture. So we are going to be engaging in talks, because I must say that the ambassador attached to Trinidad coming out of Cuba, we would have met some months ago, and coming out from those talks, we were able to engage through him Cuba in these areas of agriculture. They are very sound in artificial insemination, and they have signaled to us that they will support us in improving our AI on the island. And to utilize the resources in a more prudent manner, we're going to have either one or two of those technical people coming onto the island to deal or to treat with AI operations with our vets and extension officers and agricultural officers that are on our various farms. So this is going to be a welcome. I strongly believe that that's going to be a welcoming move towards improving the livestock on the island. There is also the area of tropical foods. We have mangoes, avocado, and they have gone ahead in increasing the genetics of these fruits. And with that said, they are willing to work with our laboratory up at Goldsboro, our tissue culture lab, and with other farmers on the island to improve the genetics of these fruits. We can get bigger fruits coming out of increased technical advice coming from the Cubans. So that is an area also that we are going to be tapping into, so as to get the support from those persons who would have gone that way before. We also visited what we consider as urban agriculture. We visited a field, and it was extremely good to know that so much produce can be done in a small space because of the technologies that they use. And even what was more instructive is that they would have, the area to which these small farms are developed, the community are the people who benefit from it. So the individuals in those communities will purchase the food or whatsoever produce that comes out of these urban farms. In the urban farms, you find that you will have protective agriculture or production done that is in the use of greenhouses and nuts and other shelters. They are the upscale greenhouses, and they are those that takes away from the plant that direct hit from the rains. So you have them contained and you have them fully contained. So all of these systems are in place so as to ensure that agriculture stands predominant in their area. And likewise, we will want to ensure that we increase productivity here in Tobago by having the technical advice coming from these people from Cuba. We have an environment that we must take good care of, and we are to ensure that we do not degrade, we do not have any diminishing of our environment in any way. So it is incumbent on all of us, the whole of Tobago, to ensure that they put their piece into ensuring that our environment remains pristine as it is. There would be some areas that we can ensure that we introduce and upgrade so that the environment will always be kept intact. Areas that must be made mention of is in the forestry, in the area of forestry. Now, today and tomorrow at the Botanical Gardens, commencing from 9 up to 3 o'clock in the evening, we will be distributing or selling plants to private people, private landowners, the NGOs, CBOs, and faith groups, all in an effort to replant or reforestation, on the reforestation effort of the island. I want to give you an idea as to how small the fees are, because we want to ensure that these plants are out there. We are going to distribute some 4,000 plantlets. And we have mahogany, cedar, angenail, sea grapes, the yellow pui. And we have them at $1 per plantlet, with the exception of the sea grapes and the yellow pui, which will go at $5 each.
Thank you for tuning in to another Tobago House of Assembly's Post-Executive Council media briefing for the week ending August 23rd, 2014.